My friends, good evening. Two pieces of news this week show that the battle for AI, which is only just beginning, the battle for artificial intelligence, is taking an increasingly brutal turn. There's a lot of money, a lot of interest at stake, and anything goes. And in fact, we're heading more and more toward battles that could possibly end badly. For artificial intelligence, its users, the people who depend on it, and maybe even spell the end of this technology. Because you have to understand one thing, there aren't only technical solutions. When you look at solutions, just because something is technically possible doesn't mean we can do it. There's also the legal side and the need to comply with a number of rules. I would even say civilizational. So that's where we are today. We're at this crossroads. Let me tell you about it. Without further delay, we have Perplexity. It's an artificial intelligence that was created around 2022. It is the subject of a complaint by the Financial Times, the financial newspaper that everyone knows, as well as by another Chinese newspaper. So, what does the complaint say? The complaint says that Perplexity, to train its model, massively pulled data from the Financial Times. That means it took articles from this newspaper, which are original articles that required humans not just copying each other, but actually going out, conducting investigations, asking questions, taking photos, doing field reporting, and writing articles, right? And then what does Perplexity do? It consumes those articles and then spits out the numbers, spits out the information, the data, including the errors that were slipped in intentionally, not in the newspaper. And then it will give them directly to the user. So we're in a situation of data theft between us. AI is always trained on stolen data. That's the big secret of artificial intelligence today. It's stolen data, data that's collected just about anywhere. That means we're going to launch bots, we're going to do scraping, we're going to download texts, download images, download everything we find. We'll download it wherever we can find it, including online. And actually, we give this dirty work to intermediaries who are often small companies located in countries where the jurisdiction isn't very strict about this kind of thing. And then what do? We package all that, we use it to train the LLMs. Now, what's the danger? What's the problem? We're going to talk more about the data theft that's involved today, but what's the problem? The problem is this. It's that, look, for example, Google in English, it will probably come soon in French and in other languages. When you do a search today, they offer you to go into AI mode. So what's AI mode? It's a mode where you can ask your questions and it answers you directly. So instead, what is it? The core of Google is a search engine. Normally, it's supposed to give you links to websites that you have to visit. What's the rule of the game? You're supposed to go visit them, except now they give you information directly. But where does this information come from? It comes from websites. What will these websites see? If this way of consuming information becomes widespread, what will these websites see? Well, they'll see that their number of visitors has collapsed, that no one is coming anymore. So the webmasters of these sites will see that there's no momentum. They'll say maybe there's no interest, when in reality, maybe there is. An article they wrote, which may have been viewed 50 times according to the website counter, may actually have been used 500,000 times by consumers who accessed it through artificial intelligences. And all of this will actually create a copyright issue, a question of lost revenue, and in the end, simply a question of motivation. We can't expect people to post original content, to create original content. If it's immediately copied and then reused elsewhere by giants, artificial intelligence, so this will also, in the long run, end up with lawsuits, with stories and others in court just quickly. This video is sponsored by Estler. It's an organization in France that helps people who want to find a job or change jobs who feel stuck somewhere. And then, well, they don't want to face the job market, or rather they do, but they need help, they need support. Well, Keyless are very professional in that area. I recommended them. I sent a lot of people to them over the past 12 months, and I received excellent feedback. In some cases, it's covered by France Travail, my training account. So I'll put the link in the video description and in the pinned comment. Go ahead. From me, so I'll continue. For data theft, we have another piece of information that follows this. We have an engineer from Xi, that's Elon Musk's company, the one that provides Grok. We know it on Twitter, which is called X today, so we have a Chinese engineer, Mr. Li, something, I don't remember the full name. So as I was saying, he joined Xi in 2021. To give you an idea of his background, he studied at Stanford between 2021 and 2024. 3 years of studies at Stanford, part of which took place during COVID, so probably remotely. I'll tell you the rest. The rest is that he joined Xi last year. He received several million in salary and also in stocks. And this August, what did he do? In 2025, he sold $7 million worth of his shares. You realize that today there are voices. It means that while AI is destroying jobs, it's also creating others that are extremely well paid. But it's gold for the brave, because it's not about making a nice print or things like that. It's about, these are people who can go into the heart of algorithms, of artificial intelligence, to interact, to try to improve things and all that. And they do scientific research in this direction. This guy, Mr. Li, has been cited, you look on Google Scholar, cited nearly 18,000 times. So he's really someone who has contributed a lot, and in a very short time, he's brought a lot of things. And the entry bar is quite high because it's equivalent, if you will, to doing a Doctor of Philosophy in mathematics as you go along. People who were doing a Doctor of Philosophy in mathematics ended up as math professors, and you would see them in the morning waiting for the bus to go home. Mathematics never really fed a man, except now, today it does. It even feeds him a lot. So as I was saying, he arrived last year at Xi's place. This year, August 2025, he sells his shares. He sells 7 million shares. He resigns. He signs a contract with ChatGPT, if you want, OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. He signs with them. And right after that, we find out that he stole some code, which means that before leaving, he took some code. So we still don't really know exactly what he took. But he's the subject of a complaint. He stole information from his employer. So what does his employer do? They file a complaint against him personally, not OpenAI. They want, among other things, for him to be punished by law, etc. But also an injunction. They want an injunction from the court so that he can't work at OpenAI. If he can't work at OpenAI, who do you think he'll go to? I can easily see him taking a plane, going to China, and of course working for Chinese artificial intelligence companies, right? Isn't that something to think about? But you see, it's really starting to get ugly. Yes, we have AIs, or AIs that steal people's data and reuse it. And then we have employees who steal their employers' data from the inside, who want to go sell it elsewhere for even more millions. So it's really starting to go wrong. We're going to keep following this whole story. If there's if there's an interesting or juicy update, I'll tell you about it, but I think we're only at the beginning of this story. Let me remind you once again, our sponsor, Keyless, if you want. 2 situations. 3, actually, you're in France, you're looking for a job, or you have a job, but you're not happy, and you want him to help you move on to your next adventure. Contact them and say you're coming from Alderster. Thank you, my friends. See you in the next video.